Thank you for joining us again. We apologize for that breaking transmission. Let's also tell you that the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons is marked on the 30th of July annually. This year's theme is Reach Every Victim of Trafficking, Leave No One Behind, with societal leaders, community leaders, civil society organizations and governments, amongst others, expected to do just that. Joining us from Abuja is the National Secretary and Head of Programs Network Against Child Trafficking, Abuse and Labor, Comrade Osita Osemene. Joins us virtually now. Thank you for joining us, Comrade. We appreciate you for coming on News Now. First, what is the significance of this year's theme? Reach every victim of trafficking, leave no one behind. Talk to us about what this means to you.
Yes, this means a lot to us. Not just me personally, but to all actors that are working in the sector that has to do with trafficking in persons. Yes, it came up because the United Nations deemed it fit and find it very important that everybody should be involved in the fight against human trafficking. That is a collective responsibility. That it should not be left for only the agencies or the government to fight. That is a whole community approach. That is why it became so important that this year's top team has to do with reaching every victim in the society, leaving no one behind. Because what has happened to one has happened to all. So it is very important. And because of the human perception and perspective to issues of human trafficking, that is why we are doing the celebration today, and it's a wonderful celebration.
Okay. Perhaps you need to share your experience with us, having worked closely with victims of trafficking. And so what are your experiences so far?
Yes, when you say experience, we have been working with trafficking victims for over a period of time now. Set up 2 years after NAPTIP was set up. NAPTIP was set up 2003, while NAPTIP started 2005 as a civil society to complement the effort of NAPTIP. So for over 18 years, we as civil society have been involved in the fight against trafficking in persons in Nigeria, and it has been very, very fruitful and very interesting, even though the fight has been very difficult, because traffickers are not people who relent. They are people who are very active and try to beat all corners. You know, but the government response and the civil society response in the present days have been so also proactive and tremendous, especially under the leadership of the present Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Waziri. She has done very, very actively well, both internally and externally, and has been able to carry everyone along, especially the civil society. Now we have a very robust relationship with the NAPTIP, giving us opportunity to assist in complementing their efforts. NACTAL is an organization that is spread across the 36 states of Nigeria with over 288 members who are actively involved in the fight against human trafficking and in also carrying out sensitization in Nigeria. And we have assisted locally and internationally in rescuing victims of trafficking, you know, naming from Mali, from Burkina Faso, and within Nigeria. You know, recently we have assisted the government and the NAPTIP to rescue victims, you know, from the south, in the southeast, in the north central, you know, in the northeast, supporting them to ensure that victims are well, you know, protected, and also being able to be rescued from the hands of human traffickers. And if you notice, our activities as civil society in Nigeria has also provided a high level of protection for victims of trafficking. Most of our member organizations, you know, have shelters where they keep victims and protect them from being vulnerable to the society, and ensure that they work hand in hand with NAPTIP to ensure that these victims are provided with sustainable reintegration to start up their life. You know the causes of human trafficking, and you know why all these things are happening. But we, with the present response mechanism that have been set up, and with the support of the United Nations and other partners like HIAP and Expertise France, yes, things have been moving on fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I do get a point that there are things you're doing to tackle the issue of human trafficking, but there's a demand side of this. Otherwise, we'll not be seeing this business flourishing across borders. So talk to us about the measures that can be put in place across in synergy with stakeholders like yours,
Yes.
countries of nations, to ensure that we nip this in the bud, because year in, year out, we'll talk about issues of human trafficking across nations.
Very wonderful. Like what you said now, one of the greatest measures that have been put in place is this celebration and the team that has just been set up. Reach out to every victim in the society, leave no one behind. Before, people have seen the fight against human trafficking as just a government fight alone. But now, with this present team, it has called, a clarion call, calling on everybody, even the media, the community, traditional rulers, religious leaders, civil society, that everybody should come together, and see how we can fight this and assist and rescue the victims of trafficking. Like I said, it was not like that before. And now you can see collaborative effort amongst civil society and government agencies, especially in Nigeria. And you have also seen international community trying. Recently, you saw the arrest that took place in Nigeria, where the police from Italy came into Nigeria with the support of NATIB in Nigeria, and a Nigerian was arrested, extradited from Nigeria to Italy. Is a plus to this administration and is a plus to the fight against human trafficking in Nigeria.
Comrade Osita Osemene, National Secretary and Head of Programs Network of Trafficking Against Child in Trafficking, Labor and Abuse. Thank you so much for coming on the news now. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And to other stories now, the Senate has commenced the screening of the first batch of ministerial nominees forwarded by President Bola Tinubu. The screening commenced at the upper chamber on Monday afternoon during the plenary, which has already commenced upon the arrival of Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Some ministerial nominees, including ex-governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, arrived at the National Assembly complex for screening by the Red Chamber very early. The first nominee to be screened was Abubakar Momo from Edo State.